Okay, today I'm going to be changing the clutch master cylinder and slave cylinder in my 1990 240sx. The clutch pedal, after sitting this winter, it was just to the floor. There's no pressure at all. I looked visually, there's no leaks. The reservoir was full, so there wasn't any fluid issues or anything like that. So I'll show you what we did to get started. Okay, so I already started it, but the first thing that I did is I got a turkey baster and I used it to suction out the fluid there, just so I don't have as much of a mess when I take off the little line, the clutch line there. And it looks like the clutch line there's going to be like a 10 millimeter with a flare wrench, and I'll show you right there. Oops, sorry. Right there. And I put some penetrating oil on that a few weeks ago, a couple of times, so it should come off. If not, then I'll have to put a new end on it or something along those lines. But that's what I'm going to start with right away, is make sure that that cracks open before I continue with the rest. That way I can go get fittings and whatnot. Okay, and I believe it's a 10 millimeter. Yeah. So I'm going to try to crack it loose right now. Yep, it's spinning, and it's spinning independently from the line, so we don't have a broken line there, so that is good. So I'm going to leave that as it is now, and I'm going to go inside the car. Now the reason we have to go up inside the car is that on the brake, or on the clutch pedal, there's going to be a what's called a clevis pin holding the master cylinder to the pedal. That way, that's how the pedal, does its thing, is connected to there. And it's, let's see if I can show it. Yeah, you can kind of see it up there where the rod goes. I'll try to get a closer look. Okay, not the best angle, but the clevis pin is actually right there. That's the back side of it. On the other side there should be like a cotter pin connecting to it. And you just kind of pull that out and then the pin comes out. And that rod there is connected to the master cylinder. And you can see it looks like I've had some seepage there for some time, so that's probably part of it. Okay, with the pedal down, you can kind of see it right there. I'll move the pedal so you can see. So I can't tell if it even has the cotter pin in it, or if it even has one. So I'm going to go ahead and try to pop that guy out. Okay, so it doesn't even have the cotter pin. You can see it just popped right out. So that's easy enough, but you can see on the edge of it, it should have a cotter pin, little hole there, so I'll put one back in so it doesn't pop out. Okay, so now that I got the clevis pin out, which was actually really easy, I'm going to also loosen the bolts that hold it to the firewall. Look like maybe some 12 millimeters, and I did put penetrating oil on those as well like a week or so ago. So I'm going to go ahead and try to loosen those up, crack those loose, and then once those are all the way loose, then I'll take the line all the way off. I'll put like a rag down there to catch all the brake fluid, otherwise it's going to kill your paint down there. Okay, so you can kind of see the one of them right there, and the other one's right on the opposite side. So I'm going to go ahead and try to crack them loose. Alright, doing the one over here. Alright, that one cracked loose nice, so I'm going to go to the other one now. So I can't get an extension on the bottom one. I'll see if I can just use the ratchet in the shallow socket. Alright, so those are loose, and I'm going to go ahead and just take them all the way out. Alright, so I have a shirt down there to catch everything. I got it mostly loose. I got the top bolt up there still kind of on there. Pull this guy out. Alright, so it is out. Okay, and since I liked where it was releasing and everything like that, I kind of more or less adjusted this one on top of it to get to be basically the same. So should be pretty close, and I shouldn't have to adjust too much once I get down and do it. So okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and get the new one set in there. Alright, this is about the best angle I can get at this. So obviously, something wrong right there. This should be wrapping around that thing. So I'm going to try to push it inward some. There we go. And I'm just going to pop the pin in. Okay. I think it's going to have to come, well, it's got to be bolted all the way in. So it's there. I will definitely have to get a cotter pin for it, but it is there. So that is in. So I'll go back to the engine bay and bolt everything up. Alright, now that I got that in, the clevis pin hooked up there. So now I'm just going to go ahead and tighten everything back up here. That's all there is to that. If all you need to do is change the clutch master, that's really all you need to do for it. I'm going to change the, well, I mean, you obviously also have to bleed it, but I'm going to change the slave cylinder as well. Okay, I jacked up the car and up underneath, and there's the slave cylinder. I actually changed this back when I bought this car a while back, but I'm changing these again just for fun. And it's not a 14, it's probably a 16, so hold on. Okay, it's a 17. That sucked. But it broke loose. Okay, so there wasn't a whole lot leaking. And I got the new one. I know it's the right one. I already checked. Alright, so the battery died, but I got it bolted back in. Pretty straightforward. The only thing you're gonna come across is the little rod kind of fights you. Wants to push back out, so you kind of got to manhandle it with both hands and get it in. Not that hard either way. So what I'm going to do now is attempt to one person bleed it with like a manual bleeder, a manual pump. So I'm going to try that out. Okay, so I'm not filming it, but it's pretty simple actually how this is working. So I've got this hand pump here. It's got a little container there. Got a hose going to it and then another hose coming off of the slave cylinder, or off of it going to the slave cylinder. Basically I pump it up and then crack open the bleeder. It pulls fluid out and you get bubbles and whatnot. I did it once already, drained the master reservoir almost, and then the pedal's already feeling pretty good. But I still saw bubbles, so I'm going to do it again until I see no more bubbles. And the fluid, the old fluid that was in the lines is kind of filthy. So I'm just going to do this a couple more times, and then it looks like it's working pretty good. So this is great versus the alternative of having somebody pump it the old-fashioned way inside and then you crack it open. Either way works, but I like this option. Alright, well that was it. It was actually a pretty simple job. I did have to bleed it the old-fashioned way. I just had to do a few pumps. Had my wife do it for me, or she pumped and then I released it because it felt a little soft, so it like wasn't coming all the way back up. But other than that, it was fine. It was a pretty simple job, really easy actually. Just a little messy, but not a big deal. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know down the bottom. Thanks.